film review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, everybody.
And tonight we will be reviewing the sequel to House on Haunted Hill, Return to House on Haunted Hill. That was made in the year 2007. That's like 7 years later after the first one.
Oh, 8, whatever. So, when was the last one?
I think it was 8 years now. I forgot. I've kind of
It was 1999, the other one?
refreshed my memory.
The other one was 1999, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
1999.
Well, it was
so
99.
that was 8 years
that makes
earlier.
8 years. There you go, folks.
Yes, sorry.
But who's being pedantic? Me. Okay.
Yes, so who directed this
no, this is interesting. A guy called Victor Garcia. Now, this is one of his first directing jobs, wasn't it? Did you were reading up something there before about him being creative consultant or something? Was that? Or was that
No,
another
that
guy?
was someone else.
But yeah, this is his first. This is his. He broke his virginity, folks. This is his first directorship. Mm-hmm. And he did a very good job considering.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. So who stars in this
This
movie?
The thick plottins, or the plot thickens, whatever. Now the leading lady is played by Amanda Righetti. I think that's the right pronunciation of last name. And she plays Ariel Wolf. Now she's supposed to be the sister of the girl who escaped in the first movie. Was it Sarah?
Yes,
yeah,
Sarah Wolf.
Sarah Wolf. So she was the final girl who got out of the building with the Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Baker.
Yeah, the baseball player.
Baseball player.
So and I'll get into the storyline in a minute, but she's the sister of that girl. Now, her, not necessarily a boyfriend, but her
love interest.
Her potential love interest, which grows during the movie, is played by a guy called Tom Riley. He plays a guy called Paul, who's a photographer who does work for Ariel's business, which is some sort of magazine, fashion magazine or something.
Fashion magazine sorts.
Now, here we go. A guy called Stephen Pacey is playing Dr. Richard Hammer. He's an archaeologist. Reminiscent of Indiana Jones. Ooh.
Well, you're forgetting he's also a teacher and a writer.
Yeah, he's a teacher, lecturer, writer, blah, 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 blah. And he's searching for an artifact he's been looking for the past 20 or 30 years. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, he's an Indiana Jones clone or clown.
As you will soon see, guys. As you will soon see.
As you will see. Now, he has a very friendly student who joins him in his visit to the haunted building. Her role is played by Serena Vincent, and she plays Michelle. She's not all she appears to be.
But she is got a nice rack.
Well, eye candy. Yeah, all the females seem to be quite nice in this. Yeah, okay, a nice rack. That's a good one. Yeah. Now,
and this Michelle has an unknown boyfriend named
he's an ex-guy. Erik Palladino. He plays the head naughty guy. Well, there you go then. Desmond Nile.
And he's also an arch rival to this Richard Hammer guy.
I just said that. The head naughty guy.
Yes.
Desmond Niles. He's an evil art dealer. Now, he is looking for the same artifact as Dr. Richard Hammer is. And they're both going to the same building.
Yes.
Richard Hammer wants it as an archaeological find to put into a museum, just like Indiana Jones would. And this guy, Desmond Niles, wants to get it and flog it to somebody and make a bucket-load of money out of it to retire, to the Bahamas or somewhere. Now, here's one, Jeffrey Coombs. Who the hell is Jeffrey Coombs? Jeffrey Coombs plays the head ghost.
And he was in the original 1999 version of House on Haunted Hill too.
See, there's not too many jobs for ghosts, so he has to be in the same movie, I suppose. But he plays Dr. Richard Vanacut, who was the evil, nasty doctor.
So he's the only other actor in the sequel who makes a reappearance.
Who else dies? How can they come back unless they're ghosts?
I know, but he's the only actor in the sequel that has made a reappearance in this.
That's a good point. Well, there you go then, Chubbles.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get along. Now, basically, do you want to take over now?
Yes, we might as well get into this.
You want a quick overview?
Yes, we can do an overview. But before that, I should bring up this important thing about this film that makes it different from any other film I have even looked at over the years. The film was designed for used with navigational cinema technology, which allows the viewers to choose between two ways the story can go with.
Yeah, it gives you a choice. A bit somewhere in between a DVD and a computer game. You can choose what's going to happen. What choice would you make, folks?
Or like those books where you make a choice between... You start at the beginning, and then throughout the book, you start reading different pages.
Go to page 73. That sort of stuff.
Those
but they put an extra 60 minutes worth of filming in here to cover the multitude of selections to increase the gore and increase nudity.
Yes. Yes, just
I hope it's a female nudity.
Just want to point this out to you guys because this part is usually the most interesting part because I haven't seen this ever been used before in any other film. So
I don't know. I've seen it on DVDs, but it's not very popular because a lot of people don't want to play games. They just want to watch a movie.
True.
But it's a good trick to market a movie, I suppose.
True. And I've seen it done in video games too, where you play the game and you can make conversations. Like you can be the hero of the story and say what you want to say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whatever's on your... Well, not really what was on your mind, but just be precise in the story.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yes, we shall.
Let's shall.
Yes. So
why not?
So the story flashes back to Dr. Vannicutt, where he gets attacked by these inmates. One of the inmates plays a very particular role in this movie. I won't go into details just yet, but they all attack him. He raises the alarm, lockdown. You get the story: fire, death, destruction, yada yada yada. So we flash forward 8 years later to Sarah's sister Ariel, who's working in a magazine, but she's not having a close connection with her sister for gosh knows reasons. Mostly because it has something to do with the haunted...
Maybe the thing's a bit weird because it's saying, I believe in ghosts and everything. And
she doesn't believe about the ghosts in the haunted house.
Maybe the thing she's off the twig and she'll be in the mental asylum herself.
She probably... Because in this future timeline, this...
Current timeline.
This one, everyone has figured out that the Price killed his wife and went on a mass killing spree in the house.
Boy, were they wrong, hey?
Yes, so this is the what they believe in, and they don't believe that ghosts attack the party goers or party guests.
Well,
and Sarah and Eddie...
Who believes in ghosts?
And Eddie is no longer part of this story anymore, sadly enough.
Well, he didn't have to be.
Yeah, so I imagine Sarah and Eddie, they probably part ways and just... finished. Well, I won't go into it.
They weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, or just two survivors.
Yeah, but I always thought they had something there.
They didn't have to get together.
I thought there was something between them that was kind of romantic.
Yeah, $5 million worth of checks when I sit on the windowsill. That was the only thing between them.
Yeah, true.
$2.5 million each.
Yeah, and I imagine Sarah may have given half of it to her sister to start her magazine. That's how I view it, because. As you guys know, you guys who have started magazines, it must take you guys a lot of hard work getting it together.
It must have been reasonably good. It had big buildings she was leasing.
It was a very big building.
Lots of people working for her.
A lot of people working for her. She's the head of, just the head of the magazines, and she's has a huge crush on her photographer.
He wasn't, and she made a comment says, "Oh, all photographers are gay. Not this guy."
Not necessarily. I've worked with photographers, and most of them I've worked with, they are very dedicated people, and they know when to keep it zipped.
Our favourite photographer in Australia here, who's worked for us, is David Fox, and he's an older guy, and he's definitely not gay.
Yeah, and he's has a nice wife. I met her, and she's
Mrs. Fox.
yes, and I hope that David and his wife are having a good, are trying really hard to
Not get sick.
get sick during this epidemic.
Yeah. Good old David. If you're listening, David.
Yeah, we miss you guys.
Yeah, you want to catch up? Yeah.
I
No,
hope so.
never mind.
Yes. So anyway, Ariel gets wind that her sister was committed suicide. We think. But I don't think that is the case because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, she thought, oh, sad. Doesn't quite sure, was she?
Yeah, well, she got a lot of messages from her, which would have been a wake up call if she bothered to ring or
she
phone.
might have been having a bad day. She probably could have gone through this a lot before. Come on, I'm having a bad day, and she said, oh, here we go again. Very needy, clingy, whatever. And when she goes to her Sarah's apartment after the police had been there.
Yeah, strange, really, don't you think?
What do you mean?
I think we discussed it last night when we were watching the movie.
Here's something. It often gets me. They've gone to where Sarah lived, the site of a police investigation, suicide, stroke, suspicious death.
Yes.
Had the yellow tape that police put up saying, police site, whatever police investigation site, do not cross this path. Yes, it's across the door. They take it down and walk in. Now, if the police had finished their investigation, you would think they would take down the yellow tape.
Yeah.
Or not leave it up for some person to just walk along there and rip it off the door and walk in. I've often wondered, it happens in lots of movies, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And
Either the police are very messy.
Or they may have taken away all the stuff
Well, why
she has
put
in
the
her.
yellow tape up?
I mean, there was so much stuff there that could be hinted that.
She committed suicide. There's nothing to indicate otherwise. They left all the personal effects there, which include all newspaper clippings and whatever.
Yeah. So they entered her Sarah's room, and it's got all these newspaper clippings. It was like those criminal wolf. Yeah,
like she's doing her own criminal investigation and what actually happened at the psychiatric centre.
Yes. So we get somehow Ariel sees her sister ghost form wise,
flash,
and we hear a gunshot, which hints to how she may have died.
That was a good visual effect. She gets up there and half her head's blown away. That's really good layering, and After Effects.
And
that's really
her
good.
Sister says to her, "You must help them."
Yeah.
Yes.
And not knowing who them is, but she finds out later who them is.
Yeah. So anyway, we come back to Ariel's place, and she gives her Paul a nice kiss goodbye, and she heads into her room. Not before receiving a very big envelope. You think about this, guys?
We'll just go back. When they're at Sarah's apartment, her dead sister, the Dr. Richard Hammer, who the archaeologist guy shows up, he's looking for the diary of Dr. Vanakat. And obviously Ariel knew nothing about it, and they all left. And then when she gets home, she finds in the mail
very big
the diary
envelope
has been sent to her by Sarah.
Yes.
Because she didn't want anyone to get it.
Yes. Does this sound familiar to you guys?
Indiana Jones, his dad in The Last Crusade.
Or at least the Maltese Falcon, I keep mentioning.
Well, it wasn't mailed, was it?
Yes.
But didn't Indiana Jones' dad send him his diary to keep away from the bad guys?
Yes.
Right, okay. So, she's the same thing as another diary.
Even though she didn't get around to opening it and do
She's
whatever.
She had a quick flick at it.
She then gets a knock at the door, and we hear Paul's voice saying, "Watch out, there's some bad guys coming."
And they all barge in there. The head nasty guy with his cronies.
Yeah, and Desmond, no else.
Yeah, Niles. Desmond Niles. Niles. Think of the Nile River.
Don't want to think about it.
Is he in denial? No. He was later on, wasn't he? No.
Quiet down. So Desmond Niles comes in. He gets the journal, and he pretty much wants to bring Ariel and her boyfriend along because
we're gonna have an outing.
Yes, meaning he doesn't want to leave any witnesses,
Well, it's just funny,
lying around, standing
He
around.
said, "I don't want to leave you here in case you want to go running off the police."
Yes.
And
He
he had no worries about trying to kill him later on. So why you just kill him there?
He said something about he didn't want to make it look like another suicide attempt because then it would be looking very suspicious.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he wasn't as stupid as he made out. Yeah, well, there you go then.
Because
Yeah,
it would be a bit odd, two sisters from the same family being killed or
they
committed
just say
suicide.
they're both mentally deranged.
Yeah.
They could. Yes. Is it a genetic thing?
Doesn't sounds a bit weird. Anyway, we get to the asylum.
The
It
nut
looks
house,
the same
yeah.
as usual. Weird thing on the cliff.
Yeah. What a place to build a nut house or any other sort of building. That would have been a ridiculously amount of money to build a place like that on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
For what purpose? Because it looks good for the movie?
Probably.
And
Anyway.
the previous movie, and wasn't the old movie, the old Vincent Price one, done the same way? I think it was done the same. I think got the idea from there. Maybe I don't know.
Mostly.
It just looks good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway.
it's terribly good.
So our cast arrived there. We even get wind of why Dr. Vanakin, whatever his name is, why he had a statue like this demon statue, and along with some other crazy artwork. And Richard Hammer explains that he's into artwork, so because he thinks it's good therapy
for the inmates.
the patients.
Yeah. Now, just going back to a bit of archaeological stuff. This image was of an old god, Baphomet, I think.
A devil's statue.
Well, an old deity, believe, fake god, and it was evil, and that was supposedly the reason why Dr. Vanakat becomes evil. He's affected by the idol, but no one knows this yet.
Yes.
And that's the reason why he did all these naughty things, and the people, his staff did naughty things with him. The whole thing took over.
Yeah, throughout this movie, you're going to get a lot of some weird flashbacks whenever the person or people encounter ghosts of any kind.
Yeah, I think it flashes back to where and how they died.
Yeah.
So you're reliving their agony when they died, whether they died in a, what do you call it, the immersion pool sort of thing, and they were drowned, or in the crematorium, they were burnt alive and stuff, and had, I think it was a tuberculosis clinic at one stage, and they just burnt them alive, didn't even wait for them to die. Nice one, folks.
Yes. There was even one scene where in that one of the guys found one of the hollow walls, and as it turns out, I think that some of the patients were
walled up inside,
like Edgar Allan Poe style.
Yeah. That's not bad. The black cat.
Very ew.
Hey, we must do some Vincent Price movies, some of the old ones.
Most
You
definitely.
younger guys, if you haven't seen them, you're in for a treat if you watch some of these.
So anyway, I'm digressing again. as
We like to
usual.
digress.
So the guys meet there. Richard knows Hammer knows Desmond because he's a student and he thinks,
Or ex-student.
and he's also an arch rival. Hint, hint. Indiana
Belloc.
Jones again.
Belloc and Indiana Jones. Well, there you go.
Hint,
then.
hint.
And actually, isn't there a line there?
Yes.
They actually say that the good guy, Dr. Hammer, he says, "This idol does not belong in a private collection, it belongs in a museum." And I think that line was taken straight out of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Most likely.
I think it was.
Oh, yes.
Come on, guys, a bit of originality,
Yes, a
please.
bit of originality, please.
He could have said, "I've got a bad feeling about this."
Meh.
He didn't.
No. Yes, so anyway, our bad guy, he suggests them to split up, leave Paul and one of his men to be guarding the van while his people go and try to search for the idol. At first they kind of disable the lockdown mechanism thing. We discussed about that, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, actually, in the first movie, in all the movies, there is a security system in the building which locks all the windows
And doors and stuff.
With the big metal panel. So once it's you're locked in, you cannot open it unless you reprogram the machinery to do something or whatever. But it's a lockdown for 12 hours.
Yes.
I think automatically, unless you stop it from reopening. Now, for some reason, it decides to do a lockdown when they went in there.
Yes, and they went down to the room where all of these bits and pieces are.
Now, this is the part that got me. It has these big metal wheels, like iron cogs and stuff, and they got their somewhat machine gun, automatic guns. They're going bang, 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 shooting it. Now, the point is, I don't know about you, but if I'm a dirty great piece of iron and I got some people shooting little lead bullets at me, I'd be laughing at the bullets.
Yes.
Honestly, yeah. And for some silly reason, the machine stops. A poor old sick machine, the sparks fly out.
So it somehow stops for a bit. And then our villains and our heroes, they go off on separate journeys to find the idol of sorts.
Yeah.
And Ariel's not too thrilled because she has to be signed with the Desmond creep.
Well, Desmond thinks he's cute.
Yeah.
I must admit, there was that
scene,
lady, she's a rather attractive lady. Amanda,
there was a scene between them when they're walking together, and he says, he continues to disbelieve the fact that there is ghosts in this the psyche ward. He keeps saying, I only believe in things like touch,
yada,
hold,
yada.
and taste, and I think he was coming onto her in the most glorious way.
He's coming over a little bit sleazy.
Yeah, even though he's good looking, and
he wasn't that good looking. He didn't get my juices flowing.
He was good looking, but he was just. It was pretty much. I would not want to date a sleazeball.
He reminds me of the guy in that Indiana Jones fan movie, Indiana Jed, the bad guy in that. He reminds you a lot of that guy.
Don't go there.
No, Indiana Jed, really good.
Yes, definitely check it out, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
They go their separate ways. One or two of his guys get killed off in gory ways. One of them was face got ripped off by the doctor with using a scalpel.
Yeah, a scalpel. Yeah, he went whack, really fast too. He'd be good in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was really disgusting. And I imagine if what's his name, Leatherface was around, he would probably love it.
Oh, gimme. Yeah.
Yes, and our next victim on the chopping block was a guy who ended up being ripped to bits.
Yeah, they got him. They these big pieces of material wrapped around each arm and leg and whatever, and put him in,
off
and suspended him in space in the middle of the room, and just pulled and made a wish. And in the end, his body just broke up in little pieces. And they walked to the room and said, "Where's so and so?" You're standing in him.
Yeah, and another guy, he ends up going right into another area, and it was pretty much covered in water and stuff, and yuck.
Yeah, dirty water. I hope it wasn't sewage. Ew.
I imagine it was
Well, he said dirty water.
Yes, well, that's what he says.
Well, I don't know. Well, I've never heard of. Is muddy water clean? No.
Yes, so he finds a hollow wall, and as I mentioned before, he gets the impression that that's where the idol is, and he breaks a few holes in it, and he gets sucked right into it.
Yeah, someone grabs an arm comes out, grabs him in his middle, rips his guts out of his heart or something.
It rips out. It just pulls him in mostly.
Yeah, but didn't break his skin first and start grabbing stuff out, and
he kind of pulls
and then and fold him up in little pieces and just pull him through the hole in the wall. What a way to go!
So he's pretty much ripped into the wall, right into, and pretty much a lot of blood everywhere. Ugh.
Yeah, yuck.
Yes. Anyway, in one of the scenes, we do see Ariel getting pulled into another patient's room, and she sees the lead inmate. That's what his name is. Lead inmate, gives her a vision of what happened to him. He shows her that how he led some of the patients into attacking the doctor and trying to kill him.
In the olden days.
Yes, and I think he's a good guy in this one. He's not a bad person.
Yeah, I mean, We started to think, I mean, that this was a psychiatric hospital for the criminally insane, but he might not have been totally insane.
Yeah.
But he wanted to get his vengeance back on the doctor.
Yeah, I think
so he's warning the other people, hey, watch out, go here, do that. So maybe he's manipulating her or helping her to get his own ends, to get some vengeance back on the doctor.
Yeah, most likely.
But anyway, she's in this room, and a couple of minutes later,
she's sort of wrapped up in a straitjacket.
And they say, how the hell did she do that?
Yeah, that was what Michelle and Desmond said when they came into the room and seen her there, and were saying, how did she get that on her and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Even though that would usually
you cannot put a straitjacket on yourself and do it up at the back while your hands are in these long sleeves. It's impossible.
It takes a lot of people to put yourself into a slate jacket.
Yeah.
So
One
that's
person,
impossible.
one ghost did this.
Yes. Yes, and then she tells Desmond, Michelle, and Dr. Hammer that what she's seen, and indicated that the place is definitely 100% haunted.
100% haunted? Well, I'd say there's an amount of ghosts, I'd say 200% haunted.
Yeah, and Desmond just gives her the wraparound saying, no, there is no...
There's such thing as ghosts. Yeah,
and thinks she's off her rocker.
Great place for a psychiatric hospital. Yeah, okay.
And then we hear they go back to the other room about a few minutes later when they found out the guy who was ripped apart. I told you about, and somehow the lockdown devices begin to click in again.
Yeah, I think the ghost must have fixed them.
Yes, most likely. And unlike in the other movie, Ariel was able to duck and drive underneath the door before it slammed shut.
Yeah, she got out.
Woohoo!
Thinking that her friend Paul was still outside, waiting in the car with one of the other criminal guys.
Yeah.
But he'd been taken inside.
Yeah, see, he received a phone call from his boss saying to come inside.
But he didn't get a phone call. The ghost called the other guy in.
Ha ha. Yeah, anyway.
You can't trust ghosts, can you? No,
Ariel comes to the car. She finds out that Paul's not there, but the house beckons her to come back inside.
Well, she went back. The house left the door open so she can come back in.
Yeah, well, they opened it again.
Yeah,
and
didn't beckon her, so she left her, come on back in and get your friend.
Well, he did. Well, actually, the house called her name saying, Ariel.
What again? But the ghosts were greedy. They want to get everybody.
Yeah, most likely, or something like that.
They weren't being nice to her.
Yeah, so she grabs a gun and she heads back in there. And Desmond is still thinking that this is all part of a ruse, that his guys are planning against him in hopes of getting the statue for themselves.
Yeah, you just can't trust anybody, can you?
No. Desmond doesn't believe it. He thinks even the torn up body that was on the ground, he still doesn't even believe it.
Well,
even the bit with Ariel being pulled into a room, he still doesn't believe.
Well,
it.
he thinks some of these guys got together and put her in a straitjacket. You know?
Yeah, but you can't really. There was nothing pulling on her.
There's no time to do it either.
Mm-hmm. And there was
she got locked in the room, they opened the door, and she was in a straitjacket.
Yeah, and
where did these friends disappear to?
Yeah, there was probably no air vents, not that I'm aware of.
Or
in the
sewer holes, or rat holes, or
whatever.
Move on.
So anyway, they discover that they may be able to get out through the sewers underneath
down in the basement area.
Yeah, and of course, they're all for it, except for the bad guys who want to continue their horrible search for the idol of sorts. So they end up going down there, and this is where we go to the special bathtubs we talked about.
Yeah, like a big hydrotherapy bath. They thought extreme cold on the outside would cause a lot of pain, which would block the pain that people were experiencing on the inside.
Yeah.
What a load of crap!
Well, Dad, bear in mind, this was back in the olden days where they thought most of the stuff would maybe cure you or save
It would
you
kill,
from
kill
your...
or cure. I think
your-
they killed more people than cured. I'll tell you right now. It's like electroshock therapy and different
Yeah,
things.
I seem to recall that it does probably cause more problems with that sort of chilling stuff.
Yeah,
It probably would give you hypothermia.
probably. Oh, we buried another mistake. Woo.
Yeah, anyway, our heroes go down there and somehow Desmond breaks free. He gets one of the heroes' guns and two of them fall into the water, the freezing water.
Well, I don't know how cold it was. Maybe the fridge hadn't been on, but it was still cold water.
Yes. So they go swimming in the water. We see a few probably dead bodies. I'm not sure if they're alive or not. Maybe
They came alive.
Well, yeah. Anyway, I just meant that are they ghosts of the dead people, or they just whatever?
Well, see, if they'd been there for 40 or 50 years or 60 years, it would have been ghost soup.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, some of the ghosts jump up and try to grab hold of each one of them in the process. And one of our guys, I think it's Carl, who was an assistant to Dr. Hammer,
Kyle,
and he gets pulled under and probably slowly
Well,
drowns.
he wasn't really that important.
Well, he was
But Ariel tried to save him.
yeah, she tried, but
What a nice lady. Just didn't know him that well.
well, he was
She
he was a nice kid.
Yeah, to try to save somebody she hardly knew.
Yes.
Ah,
Well,
what a
he
nice
was the
lady.
only one of the remaining guys who, apart from Paul and Dr. Hammer, they were the only three people that she could trust.
Yeah.
And anyway, Desmond and Michelle, they raced off with the map in order to try to find the idol. And then, of course, as per usual, Desmond still doesn't trust anyone and thinks that Michelle is a traitor too. Because
and he tries to kill her and she runs
only
away.
because she says that she's starting to believe about the ghost and stuff. And he thinks that if anyone so much as believes in this stuff is a traitor or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand that myself.
Well, he thinks he's on the other people's side, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes and tries to track her. He starts shooting bullets
So
willy-nilly.
she runs away.
And she gets into another room and where most of the furniture starts levitating off the ground.
It certainly does.
Yeah, and then we see the furniture, when she turns around, the furniture starts crashing down on her.
And aiming at her, trying to hit her and stuff. And there's a dirty, great big fridge.
Yes, and she gets crushed down on a few of the chairs, and she still has her upper half still, up. But then Dr.
Vannicut
shows up, and he watches her getting crushed by the fridge.
And then literally it fell on her head. Now, if it's a cartoon,
yeah,
she would have popped her head up through the bottom of the fridge and there were little stars going around. Not in this. No, she's flat as a pancake.
Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong.
Anyway, another one bites the dust.
Oh, yeah. Well, she wasn't really nice anyway. I didn't
Well,
like her.
she was pretending to be nice, being Dr. Hammer's student come assistant for the expedition. And she was actually hanging out with the naughty guy, and she was greedy and wanted the money so she can not have to work ever again.
Yeah, and had to sit on the beach.
And sit on the beach and just drink lots of booze and stuff. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, so anyway, our heroes continue on, and they're right near the sewer, I think near a drain system thing.
And they realise they can't get out because they've got bars on it to stop the nuts getting out.
Yeah, and our Ariel has another vision and found out, and the lead inmate shows her where the statue is and says, "You must destroy it."
They made their way to the crematorium area and had to actually crawl through one of the big furnaces.
Yeah, Ariel figures that if they destroy the idol, then the ghost will be set free.
Yeah, see, unfinished business sort of stuff.
Yes.
Just like in Casper and stuff.
Or something like that.
I like Casper. That was a good movie. We won't do Casper. No.
Well, we may not. We'll try to fit
Well, that's
him in.
fantasy. It sort of falls into our genres and. I like Casper. He's cute.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, our heroes go into the crematorium. They find the right oven to crawl through, because that's a secret entrance to where the idol might be.
Yeah.
And Paul and Ariel have this tiny bit of a moment.
That's really weird, though. I'm confused.
What?
They go to the crematorium.
Yes.
They open the door, and they go through. There's a door on the other side. Okay?
Okay.
There's a big corridor on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that corridor would actually lead to somewhere else. You wouldn't have to actually crawl through the oven to get to the corridor if that was a service area. I mean, you would think.
Oh, bother. You and your thinking.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Whoever designs crematorium is an idiot. You know?
I don't know.
The service guys have to crawl through an oven. The work go at the back there. No. Yeah, it has to be another door.
Yeah, so anyway, before this nut goes on and on.
Well, I'm in the right place. I'm in the nut house already.
Yes, so our heroes go into the through the door there, and they start making their way down through the corridors and stuff. Soon they arrive in a really icky room, which I imagine wasn't always icky. It just used to be an ordinary room, but somehow the ick has been there for a long time.
No, wait a minute. That icky room where the statue is.
Yes.
Yeah, we thought, oh, that looks like flesh. It is flesh.
Yes. I suspect that it was originally just an ordinary room before, but then after a few dead bodies, the evil starts growing and growing and creating its own...
It's a flesh-lined room.
Yeah, creating it a bit of a memorial type room that made it look gross looking.
Terrible.
Ugh, yeah, it would look like it was like flesh, bones, and maybe a bit of.
It looked good, but
it looked very creepy.
Good for the movie. Very good.
Yeah, and very squishy.
Anyway, they find the little idol there, stuck on a little pedestal in the middle of it all.
At one point, Dr. Hammer, he was about to take it.
Yeah, he was starting to get affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way Dr. Bannicut had been.
Yes.
And it had the spell was taking over him, but they broke it, and then Ariel had a gun and she tried to shoot it.
Yeah,
and the bullets just bounced off it. Now that brings us to another point. What was it made out of?
Oh, that's a good point.
If it was made out of wood, the bullets wouldn't have bounced off it. If it was made out of clay or something like that, the bullets would have shattered it. It was made out of metal, like bronze or something or other.
Metal, maybe.
It would have bounced off, and that will lead me to something later on.
Yeah, well,
when it goes down the sewer.
I like to think that, seeing as it's not supposed to be a earthly bound item, it's supposed to be a demonic item that can't be destroyed.
Well, maybe it's got a spell. Maybe it's got a force field around it.
I like to think
a magic one. Yeah.
I like to think it was a demonic created by
demons,
unearthly things, creatures, people.
Anyway,
that made it.
They tried to break it where it was, so they couldn't. So it ripped off its pedestal.
Yeah, and the spirits or the house was not too pleased with it.
No, so some little ghosty
it's like
for the house.
Yeah, it's like if you were tearing a broken limb off your body, because it gets really angry.
Well, if someone took my arm or leg off, I'll be a bit crossed. Yeah,
yes.
A bit crossed.
Yes. Well, anyway, whatever it was kind of causing the house a lot of pain. So anyway, our heroes they run down the corridor. They get out of the crematorium oven, and they face to face with Desmond again.
Yay.
Who wants the idol? Yeah.
Gimme.
Yes.
But wait, folks, this is where it gets creepy
and really yucky.
Well, go on.
So
you're having a good time telling the story.
Yeah. So a few crematorium people. Dead people
some of the ghosty,
start coming out of those ovens and start approaching Desmond.
Desmond, from behind, doesn't know they're coming.
Yeah.
And they grab him and they drag him into an oven. And guess what? They're still working, aren't they?
Burning him alive. And
within a matter of seconds, he's dust. Ash, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, our heroes then run back to the basement to flush down the idol.
Now, Dr. Hammer is starting to get possessed by the evil deities again, or Dr. Vanacut. We don't know who's actually controlling him. Probably Vanacut, probably.
I think according to to Ariel, that it's the statue that was controlling Vanacut.
And Vanacut was controlling everything else.
Vanacut was just the servant.
Yeah, but he was controlling everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah. So either the statue or Vanacut was controlling him to get control of the idol, so it wouldn't be disposed
Because I
of.
think that Hammer described earlier in the movie that Vanacut was an ordinary doctor before he became a bad guy,
but he became
he was
evil.
offered the Nobel Prize for being a awesome doctor, and but now he's got this idol thing. He's become the worst of person in the world.
Mean, horrible. Yeah.
Which means
I'll go and eat worms.
meaning he was not always necessarily the bad person when he.
However.
So anyway, I don't think it was his fault necessarily. I think that he was just corrupted by the idol that he just came into possession with.
Yeah, it took over his infected him. How's that? That's a good word. Infected him. A good place to be in hospital if you get infected. Hey.
Yes. So anyway, our heroes get down there. Paul takes a different route, telling them to continue on their journey, and Dr. Hammer starts attacking Ariel, and he gets suddenly controlled by whatever is controlling Dr. Vatican. Vanacut. But Ariel got the upper hand. She's about to run out with the idol, try to get it flushed down. But then Dr. What's-His-Face appears and he tries to attack Ariel. But luckily Hammer appears in the picture and he starts attacking him. While
Hammer gets better.
While Ariel
gets his brain back.
finally flushes the statue down into the
Now this is good because once the statue goes down the sewer, it's technically out of the building. And then all the ghosts and spirits that have been working for Vanacut and doing his evil bidding, some of them disappear, but the other ones turn on Vanacut and attack him.
Ripping him to shreds.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of vengeance. Vengeance be mine.
Yeah, and Vanakin, Dr. whatever Vanakin has that face that says, oops, I'm in deep trouble now. Yeah. Meaning he's going to get his own ends now, even though he has his own ends in the real life.
Well, he was a head ghost, and now we're just going to be dust.
Yeah.
Go to hell and burn, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, the lead ghost leads the charge, and they start ripping him apart, and of course ash to ashes, like we said. Anyway, the doors and windows start opening, hinting that now that the house is clean of ghosts.
And everybody, and the last two, Ariel and Paul, walk out hand in hand. Now this part gets me. There's two nice cars out there. They were brought there in one car, and the other one was driven by Dr. Hammer. Now, the part that bugs me, Dr. Hammer was driving a really nice BMW with a sunroof and everything, and the other one next door was a crappy old van. Now, I would have taken the BMW. They didn't even look to see if there were any car keys in it. I mean, I would have taken the better car.
Whatever.
I mean, a van or a really nice SUV. Hey, folks, SUV, hands up. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, whatever car comes to mind is what.
BMW is nicer.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
It does.
It's not one of those
universal
look. Points.
They didn't even look for the key.
Yeah, well, it's just not really important.
Well, if you're in the cars, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, our heroes escape, and everything is preachy, except in the post-credits scene, we see lovely couple doing their business on the beach. Scene, yes. I won't go into gory detail.
Probably not too far away, probably on the road a piece. Yeah.
Yes, and the girl notices something under the sand. Bit. They start digging, and
lo and behold, the statue of Baphomet. Aha! Now that gets back to what I was talking about before. If it was made out of wood, she would have been able to shoot it. If it was made out of clay, it would have shattered. If it was made of the metal and it got washed down the sewer, it should have sunk to the bottom.
Yes.
So what was it bloody well made of?
Yeah, anyway, the
floating
couple.
metal?
Yeah, so the couple reasoned that this might be worth something, and we'll never see the end of it
And
now.
is there going to be a sequel? Aha!
There, I'll tell you guys.
They
There was a thought of making a sequel, but thanks to this poor release of this DVD of the sequel,
this movie didn't get good.
yeah, it didn't get any good reviews, so there was no point in making another
The
one.
first movie rated well. This one didn't go so good, and so they thought, well, we're not going to waste money on a third movie.
Yeah.
So I think that part of the beach was setting up for the sequel. And it just didn't go anywhere, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been to see how much mileage they can get out of this little statue like the Maltese Falcon. Who knows? But
but
now, let's get into a bit of technical stuff now, because we have been talking about the story a bit here at the moment, so let's get into some good groovy bits. Now, we talked about the high definition thingy for the navigational center.
Yeah,
we did all that bit already. Done that already. And now, we talked about Victor Garcia's verse direct bit. Okay, that's fine. Now, this was actually filmed not in America.
I thought as much.
Now, I had it written down here. Some European area. I had it written down. Oh, here it is. It was in Bulgaria. A place called Sofia, Bulgaria.
That makes sense, considering that most of the cast and crew were from Russia.
Well, I had that sort of, those sort of names, that Eastern European sort of names, and you go, there you go, yeah. So it was made in Bulgaria. Now, I don't know why they chose to do it there, whether it was a cost thing or an atmosphere. Did they actually find the building? Or actually did some of the sets there they might have used out of real buildings? I don't know, but something must have been good, and it obviously worked for the film producers and the production companies and whatever. So, yeah, interesting.
True. Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially the fact that the lobby, which plays a very big part to this in the first movie, it resembled the same thing in this movie.
Possibly.
Yes.
Well, actually, there might have been, because they said the outside of the building in the first movie, the cars drove up, was the outside of a building in America somewhere in that area. They used a library or it was an observatory. Okay. Now, it could have been the same outside scenes at the observatory.
Most likely.
But the rest was all done somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Makes sense that way.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
You never know. You like this big city.
Well,
hey,
it
guys.
is done by the same company. Castle again.
Yeah, Dark Castle. I'm just wondering, the Dark Castle was made about the same time, the production company was made about the same time as this first movie was made, and Mr. Castle's daughter, Terry?
Yeah, Terry.
Terry Castle was part of the production team for this first movie. So I'm just wondering whether this Dark Castle has something to do with Terry Castle as well.
I don't think so. Not
Just
this one. I think
just trick of nature.
I think she just worked on the first one and just went on her way and all that.
But anyway, it didn't get good reviews. They said, there wasn't enough gore in it to make it interesting.
And
the bit of the statue, the idol, was only a subplot to sort of to carry it along.
I guess they thought that the idea of finding the object that makes it hot, why it's haunted, is a better good plot to go with. Finding a statue that is evil and is the reason why these ghosts are earthbound.
Yeah.
Which is,
excuse me.
And it's not giving them a chance to go to heaven or anything like that.
Or hell.
I like the other movie where it said that whoever gets dragged into this house or gets killed will become part of the house.
A bit like Rose Red.
Yeah.
That's one we could do.
Yeah, we could do that.
We might review Rose Red one day. that wasn't a Stephen King movie.
Yeah, it was a Stephen
King story.
I might have to look that up.
I can't remember. Good movie, that one.
Yeah, it's pretty
Anyway,
good one.
I think we should wind up. But now we've done most of. I can't think of anything else we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that
dragging it on.
yeah, other than the fact that this was the reviews out there consider this movie really bad. I consider it not too bad to watch. So I'm leaving it up to you guys to decide on what you guys think about this film. So if you have any thoughts about the film, please comment below in the comment box.
Yeah, please. I mean, that's what it's there for. I mean, we don't get too many people commenting on the reviews and their thoughts on the movies, so it would be really nice to get your feedback. And
at least it would help a lot, guys, so that we know we're on the right track.
But I think, honestly, it's not as good as the first movie. Okay, now the filming, and whatever, it was great, fine, not a problem. Special effects, but what they weren't bad. The sets were okay. The acting wasn't too bad. Possibly, and I'm not knocking the director, but I think maybe the script writer may be the problem in developing the storyline to make it work better.
Well, bear in mind, Mike, when they were doing this production, they were as I said in the past, this is not your ordinary film out there. It has like 96 different versions of the story and they were all in different directions. This one is where we're talking about.
But you still need a good basic storyline. You need the bones, and I think maybe.
And who knows how you decided which direction to use with this story.
But William Massa, it's probably a good writer, don't get me wrong, but there was just something lacking. And to me, it just didn't have that. Yeah, when you watch a really good scary movie or an action movie, you're sitting on the edge of your seat going, what's going to happen next? I wasn't getting that feeling watching this movie. What do you think?
Well, I think had good closure.
The closure was good. I mean, it had all the hallmarks of a good movie, but it was lacking something. I just think maybe the script could have been a little bit more interesting. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it was a little tidy. Is the word I'm looking for?
Some parts of it's slow, maybe. I don't know. But
I mean, I did wonder though, what's Sarah and Ariel's relationship with this inmate, the leading inmate? Like, how'd come he seemed to connect with them? Or
was he a distant relative or something?
I like to think he was a relative, which brings me to thinking that maybe when that Sarah's in the 1991 version, that her role in that was that the reason she was there, she had another. Maybe
she stole the boss's invite.
I didn't know that, but she may have had one of the ghostly inmates. The ghosts inmates might have knew that she was a distant relative of the sort of the inmate in there,
possibly.
And thought this would be. Well, I don't know. I can't figure it out, but I know for a fact.
Leave it up to your own thoughts, guys.
Although I do think that maybe they're connected with the lead inmate who led the revolt against the doctor, the evil doctor. Yes, exactly.
Whatever.
So that's my opinion.
But anyway,
I think
because it was a bit slow for me. Everything else is good. Don't get me wrong. I've got to give it a say. Well, it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie. I'd give it, say, an 8. An 8.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably go with a. I think 7.5 for me is what I think.
That's fine.
It's okay for me. Yeah. So, guys, I'll let you guys make your judgment on it. Yeah. So, thanks for listening to our podcast, guys.
Yeah.
And last any thoughts?
We did mention put comments on it, but. We've done, over 20 of these now?
We've
really saved over 20. It would be nice to get a few comments on some of the things if you people like the comments we've made or your own views on the movie. Anything, I mean, your input, it's we're doing it, but it's your site too. Yeah. So, you're invited to make your comments, please.
Yeah, please, guys. I like a little bit of comments on this sort of thing, so
we'd
we know
like-
we're on the right track.
see if we're entertaining enough or illuminating you or giving you food for thought or encouraging you to watch the movie, yada, yada, yada. All the above. So, yeah, please get out there and get your fingers working. Hey, look, you're probably stuck at home now anyway. Yeah, you might as well do something.
Quite right. So, guys, anyway, as we're saying, thanks for listening to our podcast, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
So, this is Sarah Stephenson saying, see you guys around.
Bye, guys.